Hey everyone, and welcome to the town of Alma, Missouri. This is the start of a new series here on the channel. Or, well, I guess I really shouldn't say new because we actually have attempted at the On the Map challenge in the previous iteration of this game, but we are taking another shot at it since we never actually completed the On the Map challenge in Farming Simulator 22. And so we just closed a purchase on this farm right here that may look a little familiar, and so now we're rolling in to check it out. I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour, show off some of the equipment on the farm. We'll look at buying some fields and see just how we can start year one and work our way to owning everything. Alrighty, so I would like to welcome you all to our farm here. So we'll go and park the truck up here, and then we'll walk around, talk about this place a little bit, because I'm sure you guys are noticing a lot of stuff off the bat. So we'll get into that in just 1 second. Or actually, let's get into it right now. So this is the On the Map challenge on Alma, Missouri, and like I did say in the intro, I didn't complete this challenge. I tried it, and I didn't get too far into it. I think I got into like year 6, 7, somewhere in there. And then obviously Farming Simulator 25 came out. I was feeling a little burnout on the game. Didn't really see a super crazy, need to finish it in 22. The directioning was kind of off, and so not even super long ago, this map came out. And I decided to give it another shot because this map is gorgeous, one of my favorites ever. And yeah, so let's get into this one. Obviously, this is the same farm that we had and we started with in 22, but I have changed it around a little bit to fit my liking, and you'll kind of notice a lot of similarities, especially with the house up here where we're starting. I tried to model it after the way I had it in 22. But before we look at the farm, let's look at the map, just to kind of show you guys what we're working with here. So we have precision farming enabled. We're working on 3-day seasons. So 3-day months. So like September, it goes up 1, 2, 3, then October 1, 2, 3, like that, and then to the next month. We're playing on, our economic difficulty is on normal. Our time, we can bump that up in just a second. We're just doing the intro right now. We've got dirt set to slow and fuels on high, and all the worker stuff is off. So we've got, and we've even got maintenance and painting cost up all the way. So we're playing on a pretty realistic game setting, if you had to ask me. And then here is the actual PDA map, and we own this down here is all we own right now. We started in new farmer mode, and we owned this plot. We sold everything. We had about almost $6 million, and we used a lot of it to build this farm. I just used the money we got from selling all of our equipment and stuff to build this farm, bought equipment, and now we're left with just shy of $1 million to buy our fields, and there are a ton out here we can look at. But we'll do that in a second. Let's look around the farm, shall we? So starting up here, we've got the house. We just bought this farm, and it is now ours. A little backstory. The owners of the farm, this is only like a second generation farm. They're pretty wealthy. They're actually out of Kansas. They moved here to have some beef cattle and to be a little closer to family since they were grain farmers in Kansas. They moved here, built this farm, raised a family, and then decided to move back to Kansas because the more country life was not for them, I'm assuming. And I contacted them after the farm was put up for sale. Super crazy deal. I'm surprised nobody else had tried it like I did. But I tried the farm, messaged the guy, went to the bank, and it was ours. And so he has left basically everything behind for us. But yeah, here's the farm. It's got a one-car garage with a flag out front. There's a walkway around the side, and then around the back there's a little gravel walkway to the back patio, which has this pretty awesome view to the pasture that wraps around the entire farm. And then there's obviously a trail down to that side, but we're going to turn around and we're going to walk the other way. So starting up right here on the left, we have our first machine hall, and I think all the buildings are unlocked. I've got the keys somewhere. But in this little side shed, we've got, what is this? We got a sprayer trailer, some liquid fertilizer, and some seed that I'm assuming he just left from harvest, or planting, and like the springtime. He just kind of left it here, didn't bother taking it with him. And then we've obviously got that sprayer trailer, like a tender trailer, so that's pretty neat. And then we can open this door to our first machine hall. And in here, we've got, okay, there's 2 tractors. I'm assuming this is probably the biggest tractor on the farm. We've got a John Deere 8300. It's got half-stack weights, basically new tires. It looks really, really clean and organized. Cab doesn't look messy. It looks like it's been recently cleaned. And I could say the same about basically every other piece of machinery in here. We've also got a John Deere 4250, 2-wheel drive with weights, also half-stack, 2-wheel drive duals. Heck yeah. So I'm assuming these are probably the 2 workhorse tractors on the farm. And then sitting right next to these 2 tractors, we've got an International 1480 axial flow with a huge hopper extension, some duals, look like pretty new tires on this joint too. That is awesome. I do love a classic combine on the farm, so that's awesome. And then we've got our John Deere drill here also. This is, I'm assuming, a 1590? Yeah, it's a 1590. Okay, so 2 tractors in here, our combine, and our drill. So we can step out of here now. And then the farm kind of opens up a little bit. Let's go to the shop first. So inside of here, we've got an 8-row planter and the farm skid steer, which is this is basically new. A New Holland skid steer, looks basically brand slapping new. And then we've got a heated shop here with a flag, workbench, fridge, and this looks like places to put seed and fertilizer. So that is awesome. We'll buy seed and pallets of stuff, and we'll set them in here on this rack and keep them out of the way. That'll be really handy. And then we've got all this space over here to put stuff, as well as a huge door to get in and out of here. So that is awesome. Alright, now jumping out of here, we've got all this just kind of open space out here. I'm assuming for storage, like bales and extra equipment. And then the pasture continues on, little driveway up to the house. So that's pretty neat. I do like how open this is, though. This is pretty nice, actually. And if you are wondering, it is just me on the farm right now. I bought this thing for about $500,000, I think is how much it was for this entire farm and the few surrounding fields here. So $500,000 for all this farm and all this equipment. That's a steal. As we get bigger, we'll hire employees, but I am the single owner of the farm right now. So that's how that's working. And then we'll open these doors in here, check out what's in here. We've got a 7120 Magnum, another big tractor. So we're starting off with some decent size equipment, which I do like that. We've got again row crop. It looks like Firestones, 2-wheel drive with half-stack weights. Then we've got a haybine. It's a Case International, smaller haybine. I do like that. And then we've got a 435 round baler with collection wheels. That is really slick on the front of that, and bigger tires. A little bit of a floater tire on this baler. I'm used to the skinny tires on the round balers like this, so that's awesome. Then sitting in the corner, we've got a 575 square baler. So I'm assuming this is for, I guess, I don't actually know. But I'm assuming on the farm, what we'll use it for is whenever we harvest wheat, we'll bale the straw with the square baler. So we'll have small square bales of straw, and then we'll bale our hay with the round baler so we can have round bales. And I think the idea was, when I bought this farm and we came out here and just kind of looked at everything, the idea was to put hay in this shed. So that we're going to have to see about that. I think that'll be pretty neat. We'll shut the door, and I can't believe I almost missed this diesel tank and our implements out here. We've got a skid steer, or no, sorry, this is a tractor bucket, bell spear for skid steer, and front loader. So that's awesome. Then working our way down here, we've got our 3 bins. We've got 2 5-ring bins and 1 4-ring. So this will do us really good for the next little bit. I don't see us upgrading bins for a little while. They've got perfect clearance for unloading and loading. I love how open it is right here, so you can just drive up a truck, turn around easy right here. That's awesome. Then in this 3-sided shed, we've got an international grain truck. We've got a Ford loader tractor. That is pretty awesome. It's a TW20. It's got a great bend loader on it, and I'm assuming that's what the implements are for over there, for the loader, so it goes on this. Then sitting in the corner over here trying to hide from me, we've got a tedder. This is a Vermeer tedder, so pretty awesome. I do love the Vermeer haying equipment. And speaking of Vermeer haying equipment, we've got a wheel rake out here that is quite big. I mean, I think that's 12. That's 12 wheels. That's pretty dang big. And then there's more storage out here, just kind of open area with another gravity-fed diesel tank. So that's awesome. Then over on this side of the driveway, there's this little path that it leads down, I'm assuming, to fields. I didn't actually go down here, but there's a lot of just open grass. You can see the town right there, fields open. And I'm assuming, yeah, this path goes to some of our fields down there, and I'm assuming there's a pond in the trees right there. We've got this fence line, and on it there is a field cultivator, an old International field cultivator, and a John Deere mulch chisel. So this is for like plowing, ripping, and then we've got a cultivator, so that's awesome. We've also got an 8-row corn head for obviously our combine, and then we've got a 20-foot grain head with an Easy Trail header cart right there. And then out here it looks like we've got a hayfield that is ready to harvest, and then some I guess these are just leftover bales. They've obviously been sitting here for a while, but I think they went a little overkill on the hay. But down here by the actual driveway and the dirt road, there is some more stuff sitting out here. We've got our hay wagon, for round bales, square bales, and then our auger for the bins, and then 2 wagons. So we've got a grain truck and 2 Parker wagons to move grain, so that's awesome. Then we've got a gate to the pasture. We'll take a look at the pasture in just one second because it is huge, and there's about 30-40 head of cattle in here. So we got some black and red Angus in here, and we'll look at that in just one second. I'm getting sidetracked here. So now that we've seen the main part of the farm, let's head over to the cow operation, where we've got this little trail in here between the building and the bins, and we've got some more interesting stuff out here. But real fast, we do have fans on the bins, and there's actually a little walkway back in here so we can turn them on, which is great. Then we've got some more storage behind the 3-sided shed, and this nice fence. I don't even know what kind of fence this is, but it looks really heavy duty, so that is awesome. It's like a feedlot fence. It's pretty cool. And then obviously more storage behind the shop. Then if we come on into the cow pasture here, we've got our hay ring and water trough out here. I think there's 30 head of cattle in here. I think that's what the paper said. They all are feeding really good. Yeah, there's 30 in here. Okay. They're all feeding really good right now, so they're not unhealthy. They're doing really good. They're fat, so they're eating good. I think the guy we bought the farm from said he had done vaccinations and everything, so they are healthy cows. We just got to get some hay to them at some point. But until it gets really bitter cold outside, they've got plenty of tall pasture to graze on, and that's what they're doing right now. Check them all out. But speaking of cow, this is a calf hut back here in the back lot. So I'm assuming this is for manure is the reason we've got this here. And then obviously to give the calves a nice place to, like a weaning hut, I guess you could say, if that's what you'd call it. And then we've got gates on either side, and I'm assuming this is for, manure. So that is amazing. Gosh, I really like that. In Farming Simulator 22, we never messed with calves when we had beef cattle. So this will give us a chance to spend less money on fertilizer and spend more time spreading manure. But we're gonna have to buy a spreader, we're gonna have to buy a sprayer, we're even gonna have to buy a fertilizer spreader and stuff for lime. We might even rent one from the co-op in town, but we are missing a lot of equipment that we're gonna have to buy. He left us plenty of equipment here, but not everything, and so that's where we're gonna kind of buy our own. This is just what we're left with. We've got 4 tractors, 2 bigger workhorse tractors, and then 2 kind of haying tractors is how I see it. So we've got the Ford loader, definitely a haying tractor. Probably stick it on the auger, do some odd jobs, kind of like a chore farmyard tractor. There it is, sitting in the 3-sided shed. And then obviously the 7120 Magnum, probably stick it on the rake, mower, that sort of stuff. Then we've got our combine, grain truck. So we're doing actually really well. We just need to buy some fields and see what year 2 is going to bring us in terms of money, and see if we can start buying, a sprayer, manure spreader, that good stuff. And so speaking of fields, let's do a little splurge in here. Let's spend some money, because we've got just shy of $1 million, and we need some fields because right now we've only got this. So I'm kind of debating on buying fields, closer to the farm. I think is just the better idea. And you can see our dirt road right here. Our little trail comes down here by the pond, and these are kind of our fields, but they're all up for sale since we only bought the farm. So I think the smart move is to buy these 3, because we had these 3 in 22, and that was a great deal, awesome for us. So we've got $136,000 for 11 acres, and actually we need to buy stuff that is ready to harvest like this year. So we've got a field of soybeans right here, I see a field of corn, a field of wheat, some hay. So we're going to buy this field right here. So we got some wheat we can harvest. We're going to buy this one for corn, and we're going to buy this one. So just makes perfect sense to buy those 3. So that is a pretty decent purchase, most logical. There's the word I was looking for. And then we don't just need corn, we need soybeans too, because soybeans make us some good money. But this has a lower yield expectancy, while this one has a higher yield expectancy. And this one is $350,000. This is tough. We've got these up here. That's 112. That's actually really cheap. And then this is 118,000. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and purchase this one in town. That is a no-brainer. I mean, that has 111% for 9 acres. I mean, that's a steal. And then let's buy that field. So that leaves us with $251,000. And can we get this one in here too? Let's see if we can. 112,000. You know what? I think we can kind of hold off because I'm pretty sure we could find a better field. Or actually, you know what? Let's go and buy it. I don't see a problem. And then that leaves us with 138,000, and we've got these fields right there. So we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 fields. 2 of which are hay, and they are ready to be taken out. And then 1 field of wheat, 3 corn, and 1 soybean. So I'm actually really happy with that. We did just watch all of our money disappear, but it's quite all right. I'm pretty happy with that. So you know what? Let's get some hay made, because we don't have any. This hay it's actually kind of browning out. The heads are getting to where it needs to be taken out of the field. So let's fire up the Magnum. I shut these doors earlier. Didn't know I was going to be back in here. Let's fire up the Magnum. Give it a test run. I'm just going to assume that the hay bind is field ready. I don't know for sure, but we're about to find out. So let's hop in this tractor. Let's turn it over, and let's get this first field cut. I think we've got 2 hay fields now, so we can actually spend a little more time in this tractor today. Let's at least make sure it works like we want it to. There we go. Because I'm just guessing by the looks of these bales over here that he got a cutting out back this past summer, so hasn't been too long since he's cut hay. But I don't think that hay is really worth anything, so we're gonna get some more cut here, some brand new hay for the cows. And I think the swath is like we want it, so let's get to cutting some hay. Feels so great to be back in Alma, Missouri. This is one of my, like I said earlier, one of my favorite maps. And the On the Map challenge is seriously one of, if not my favorite, actually I think it is my favorite challenge in Farming Simulator, in terms of like a challenge where you have to own everything, or and I think in the new game, I think it just looks so good. I was kind of doubting myself, but you know what, I think it looks even better in 25 myself. And to you guys who watched my series in 22, maybe you'll remember a lot of the parts of the farm and a lot of the throwbacks. Kind of familiar. That's what I was kind of going for, was a mixture of new and a mixture of returning stuff. So, but I don't know about you guys. I'm extremely excited to see where this goes. I have really high hopes for this challenge, but we're going to take it little by little and not worry so much about the future like we did in 22. We're going to take it nice and slow this time around, and at least hopefully finish the challenge out right, is how I would like to get it that way anyway. But check out these fields, this scenery. This is definitely a step away from what we've been working with in the past few series. We've had super flat, and then we've had kind of hilly, and this is a mixture of the two. And then here's our fields we just purchased in here, or at least there's our other hay field, so we'll get to that one in just 1 second. But I think we should do a little bit of in-cab mowing just to kind of see how everything's working. And check it out, we even got monitors in the Magnum. So this tractor's got a Trimble in here, I'm assuming, which would probably make the most sense. I mean, it's even got a Kinsey monitor, so I'm assuming they actually could have planted with this tractor, which would make some sense. But they had it on the mower, so either they did that to kind of get it out of the way or to move some stuff around, but it's pulling this hay bind really well. And I don't know about you guys, but I love a hay bind. Almost as much as a disc bind, maybe even more. They're so satisfying to cut with. So this field is going to take a little while. Hopefully there's no rain in the forecast. I have not even checked and made sure there was rain in the forecast. I just got out here and started cutting, so probably should have done that to be safe rather than sorry, but it's all good because we're out here making some hay. And I wonder what this top monitor here is for, because it is not on. Check out this ditch. We are mowing on the hill. Trying to save myself from going around the field the opposite way, getting the very edge, so we're trying to get as much in the field boundary as we can. But I think I'm actually driving in where the county comes and bush hogs the ditch. Maybe not, though. I don't think they'll have a problem with me getting rid of some of their grass they've got to cut. But I do need to ride out and check the crops and see how they are, like how close they are to being ready to harvest. Because it's September. I just went ahead and skipped through August since there wasn't a whole lot going on. And now the wheat, I think, is ready to harvest. So that'll definitely be the next thing we take out of the field. And I think wheat prices spike in December or January, so I don't know if we should just hold on to our wheat and put it in the bin for the time being. We do have 3 bins, so we could put wheat in one, and yeah, corn and soybeans in the other 2. Just trying to think, make sure we didn't have to have any oats or anything. But so that'll probably be what we do. We put the wheat in the bin for now, and then we'll sell it when the price is a little better. But I don't actually know if it'll go that way. We might end up just selling it out of the field. We'll see when we get there, because for now we're going to get this hay cut. And I'm not too sure what the yield was on the soil here, but we are cutting a decent bit of hay. It's not the tallest in the world, but it is putting a lot out of the mower. So I'll be excited to test out that round baler and the square baler. I don't ever really do square bale, so that'll be a brand new change for me here. I don't know, but I'm pretty excited. I'm excited about everything. I can't wait. And I think it's probably a good time to mention that we've even got the used market souped up. So we've got a mod in here that allows us to have more stuff in the used market. So if we want a deal for a vehicle, that we've got a better chance to get it out of the used market. And we can also search for used equipment off of like Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and we can find it in the game. Little joke there, but no, we can seriously search for used equipment. That's another mod, so that'll help us out with more expensive stuff, maybe we can buy a brand new combine used, and it'll save us a little bit of money in the long run. But I don't know. That'll be something we check out in the near future, and it could help us with simple purchases like a lawnmower or a bush hog, maybe a scrape blade, box blade for the driveway, little stuff like that. And I'm missing here. I need to get back into my A game. I think we go ahead and knock this field out real fast, and then we'll probably catch back up whenever we start the next hay field, and then we'll kind of discuss what we're going to be doing from there. I've got to make a few phone calls, finish out some land purchases because I just did buy all these fields, see if everything's going right. And then, yeah, we'll meet back up and we'll discuss possibly getting the wheat out of the field, making sure the truck and some of the tractors are in running condition like this one, because this one's working a dream. I just need to make sure the actual grain truck and everything will fire up. I'll finish unpacking my bags in the house, moving in, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I will meet up with you guys in just a little bit here. Well, alright, there's that field all done. Took actually a little longer than I thought it would, but I just now turned the time scale up, so it's now on 5. It was on like 0.5, and that's why it's still only 11:30, so I forgot to do that, but we're good now. There's the first field down. You might have seen I did have to get out and change the crimpers and the door at the back a little bit so it'd have a smaller windrow. And I think it turned out a lot better looking if you see it out in the field the way it is now. So let's head down here and check this out. And you know what? It doesn't actually... Here, let's get out of the cab and look at it. I really don't know if this is ready to go or not. And while I'm in the menu, let's check the weather forecast. So, holy cow. That is not great. We've got some rain early in the morning, and then tomorrow, the 3rd, and the 1st of October, we've got rain coming. So that is not great. So I guess we'll start cutting this. I mean, it just seems like what we probably should do anyway. And this field right here it's hardly going to take any time at all. It's like 1.8 acres, I think. There's hardly even anything here. But the more the merrier, and this will definitely help us, so we'll go ahead and cut it. Just to get all this hay cutting behind us, because with it raining, we need to try and get it out of the field. I don't know if we can, though. We're probably going to have to let it sit here over the rain we're going to get overnight, and maybe even the next couple days. Hopefully it kind of dissipates a little bit, but that's what we're looking at, so I don't know for sure. And I don't even know if this is a smart move or not. I mean, this hay doesn't look as ready to go as the other field, but it still looks pretty decent, and there's a lot on the ground, so I think it was probably a better choice to get this out. And then there's a look at one of our cornfields right there behind this one, so you actually have to go through this field to get to that one, just like you did on 22. I mean, that makes perfect sense. And then that right there is our wheat field, so you know what, let's jump out of the cab real fast and let's walk over here and let's check this wheat out, because I was going to drive out here and see. And it says ready to harvest. Let's kind of walk in here a little bit. We've got some sprayer lines where they've sprayed it, whoever owned it before it went up for sale. Or I guess the farm owned it. I don't know, but there's sprayer lines. It needs a few things, but it looks like it's ready to harvest. I mean, it looks pretty good actually. It looks very thick. The heads look out and brown, so yeah, as soon as we get this hay cut, we'll get out here and cut some wheat. I think that's probably going to be really interesting to fire up that combine. I really would like to see that in action. Or not even really see it, work it in action. We'll be running the thing, so yeah, really excited for that. But first things first, let's get this hay cut. We'll let it sit, overnight, and we'll probably be out here with the tedder tomorrow unless it's pouring rain. So that's the plan. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, we'll start our second pass. And you know what, this field is just a circle, so I think the only way around baling this field up is to just keep going around the field over and over again. I don't think you can make passes up and down like we could with the previous field. We've just kind of got to go around this field, which is how it was in 22. I'm getting flashbacks from cutting hay off of this field, but it's alright. We'll get it done. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we can't set up GPS And the GPS is working really nice in this tractor after finally figuring it out in the last field. Took me a second because I've only ever ran Green Star, but after some Google searches and YouTube videos and trying to figure it out, we got it working. So that's all good and dandy. But it is starting to cloud up outside, so that's not the greatest, and the temperature's been dropping. The other day when we came out here, it was almost 90 degrees, and now it's already 70 in September. So that is a little interesting. Maybe there's a cold front coming in. That's where all this rain's coming from. Surely no thunderstorms, though. I don't know. I think that would mess us up a little bit. Oh, but there goes the sunshine. It is now cloudy, so that is something we're going to have to deal with. And also, you guys let me know in the comments, should I play on 3 times time scale, like that right there, or should I play on 5? I'm kind of feeling 3, but we played on 5 in 22, and I think most people play on 5 times time scale when they do the on the map challenge, is what I've seen. But I think I'm going to play on 3. I don't know, I just set it on 5 because that's what I'm used to. But I think 3 is the way to go for me, and also it keeps these cloud shadows from looking so ridiculous, because if it's on 5 times, they're just flying by here. I mean, they're moving kind of fast right now, but just wait till it's sped up a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention something earlier when we were talking about the rules and everything. I don't know if this is still a rule everybody follows. I don't think I'm going to be following it, but I'll see how hard or easy it is later on. And that is buying fields in the wintertime. Some people only buy their fields in the wintertime, which I guess I could see why, but I probably will not be doing that. I'll probably just buy them whenever, but you know, we'll see. I mean, if it's impossible in the wintertime, then we won't do it. If it is very possible, then what the heck, because usually in the wintertime we have no money and we're just waiting on buying or selling our grain so we can buy stuff, which I guess we could buy our fields whenever we sell our grain. That would make sense. I mean, winter goes all the way into January, February, March, so I don't know. And then the second thing is, yes, I have Power Tools or Easy Dev, whatever you want to call it in here, but I am not allowed to use it. I usually play this as fair and as realistically as possible. I know I did use it a few times in Farming Simulator 22 when I was like, I remember leasing some stuff accidentally and, you know, giving my money back and sorting my stuff out like I didn't even lease it. But this time I'm going to be a little more harsh. No easy dev at all. No automatically, you know, setting fields. If I miss a plant, I miss a plant. You know, that field will just be something else. If I don't get a spraying of fertilizer in, too bad. I can't easy dev it. So I know I used that a few times in 22 just to kind of make the content a little different, to have more stuff to talk about, but this time around I'm following the rules a little better, and we're going to try to make it more realistic and lifelike, you know, because if you miss a spreading of fertilizer, or you miss a field of lime, you can't just go back in the dead of winter and put that on there. You know, you actually have to obey the laws of real life, I guess you could say, and I'm trying to do the same in the game. So hopefully that makes sense to all of you guys. Just no cheating is basically what I'm saying. And I do have the Better Loans mod, or whatever it's called. It's this right here, the loan system with interest rate and everything. So loans will be more realistic. I'll actually have to pay them back and stuff like that. So we can take out loans. We just have to use that. We can't use the in-game feature. And then, you know, we're figuring out the time scale, obviously 3-day seasons or 3-day months, whatever. And then everything else I think I've already covered or talked about. So if there's anything I do forget to mention, I'll think about it later and talk about it in another video or later on in this one. But, you know, I think that's enough of me talking. Let's get this hay out of this field, and I will catch back up with you guys in just a little bit, where I guess we'll start wheat harvest. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. And just like that, all the hay is done. Just take a look at this field out there. That's a lot of hay. We're just going to park the tractor right here for now so we can get in and out of the shed here, just to move some stuff around. We'll put this back in later, but now we can head out to the wheat field. Yep, that's what we're doing next. So for now, I don't really know what all to take. Let's grab the truck first. We will take the header cart down there, and yeah, that's what we'll do first. Let's grab the truck. Since I'm the only one on the farm, we're gonna have to do a lot of shuffling around, which is gonna take a little while, but we will get everything down to the field eventually. It just might be a little bit of a process, but you know, I'm not really complaining. This is going to be a tight fit, though. We're going to have to do some maneuvering into here. It wasn't that bad. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's send this on down the line. We'll just stay at a pretty decent pace. 18 miles an hour seems pretty decent. And I mean, the field's only right here, so we don't have to go far whatsoever. And we'll drop the header off. We'll come back, get in the combine, but we probably need to get the wagons. So we're gonna, you know what? Let's get the grain truck. We'll get the grain truck. We'll hook them to the wagons and bring them down here. We'll get the combine, bring the combine down here, and yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out as we go. But in Farming Simulator 22, used to love the crap out of this field right here, and it is amazing to see that it is almost identical in this version of the game. So I'm really excited to get harvest on with this field. And we can't move the cart, so let's kind of put it out of the way a little bit. It needs to be on flat ground so we can actually unhook it easily. You know what? I just went in a full circle. Right there will be good for now, because we can pull in the side of the field right here. Hang on. We can still get in right here, so we're not actually losing any field approach. We're just moving it over. Now we'll fly back to the farm, kicking up some gravel dust, and we'll grab I don't even really know, because we can't actually grab the truck. So for now, let's get the wagons. We'll come back in a tractor or something to pull these out of here. Okay, so we'll take these down to the field now, and then I guess we'll come back for the combine, and we'll leave the truck at the farm, and we can just load these wagons as they're sitting here, but probably not. I feel like we're gonna need some more storage for the wheat. I don't think we're gonna have too much for these wagons, so we're gonna need the grain truck, and that's gonna be a walking back process, I assume. And you know what? I put that header trailer in the worst spot ever, didn't I? Let's put these wagons on the side of the dirt road. So watch this insane turnaround here. Try not to jackknife anything or run off in the ditch. There we go. Flawless. I'll put these right there. I'll spin around, move the header cart, because I put it in a horrible spot. I made a big mistake last time. I did this challenge in 22, and I did not start off with any wheat in the first year, and I could tell that it greatly reduced my profits for the start of year 2. And so I was struggling a little bit when it came to trying to get stuff done in year 2. I remember that. So we're not going to make the same mistake twice. And we've already got our hay cut, so we're going to fix the mistake by not having any wheat, and we should be pretty dang set to go. Can't get over how good this farm and field looks right here. Oh, this is so slick. I need to stop freaking out and get this wheat up. So I will just leave this truck at the farm right here. I've always got a little parking spot by the shop, so this will work for now. And then let's get in here, let's get the doors open, and let's get the combine out. But sure enough, I'm gonna have to move the tractor out of the way, so that's just awesome. Yeah, there's no way around it. I've got to crank the 8300 up. Hopefully, yep, okay. Fires right up. And I think, let's just move this over here to the side. Something here. Let's pull up and back up a little bit more. Something about like that should do. And check this out. This tractor's got all the bells and whistles in here. We've got a planter monitor, and looks like a sprayer controller for the rate. So that's awesome. Looks like I know what tractor we're going to be spraying with, but that's going to come later. Let's get the combine out of here. Ooh, this thing sounds mean. And I'm not even sure how it fit under this shed. This is a very, very tight fit in here. And even out the door. Oh, that is so close. The controls are a little jerky. I'm assuming it could probably be greased, but we've got wheat to get up before it rains, so we're gonna head out. Check it out, our combine is loose. We have unleashed the beast. Now we're gonna make a left-hand turn, and we'll catch up the rest of the stuff and start wheat. I am a big fan of these axial flows with the white cab, and now that it's got this moyer on top, Man, this is looking good. It's got some decently beefy tires in the back. They all look new. It's in very good condition. And I'm even noticing we got a little screen up here at the top for precision farming. I have hardly tested out precision farming in 25. It just came out yesterday. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this is going to work out. Or no, sorry, it came out 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like that. I can't remember. No, it's actually been more than that. I forget. It hasn't been the weekend. So yeah, it's been a little longer than that, and I haven't even tested it out yet. But we're about to. Let's get this head hooked up. Slow and steady. Just jumping around everywhere. I think that right there should be probably good. Oh, check it out. Like a dream come true. Alright, so we need to unfold the header. It'll put those side parts on it. Also need to take the straw choppers off the combine because we are going to be baling this. And then I don't know if we have to unfold the combine or not. Doesn't look like we do. And let's go ahead and get to work, shall we? We probably need to pick up the head reel a little bit. Hang on one second. Just so we're getting all of this best we can. That looks a whole lot better. Okay. And I do not know what the yields are on this field. Let's open the map so we can see a little better. I probably should have done that when we were cutting hay, but it's in the lighter green, so that's a good start. And depending on what these rows look like of straw out the back of the combine, we might actually just rake them together so we'll have less passes, but I don't know. I feel like that might be too much for the square baler at one time. But check this out. This is awesome. We are absolutely tearing this wheat up just as expected. And this combine is not disappointing whatsoever. We're probably going to be keeping this combine around for a good while. I do like the look of this thing. And the yield's actually doing a good bit better up here in this corner of the field. It always does better over here. And we're getting, I think that's in hectares for whatever reason. I think there's a way I can probably change that, but 6.9 tons to the hectare. I'm pretty sure is what that means. Wish somebody would translate that to acres for me. But that does seem like a good bit to me. And then we've got a percent that's flickering, whatever that means, next to the thing. I've got to understand what all that means, but could be moisture, but more than likely not. And then I'm assuming the other ones mean how much we've harvested so far. So that's pretty neat. I do like that. That's a new feature in the Farming Simulator 25 version of precision farming. But oh man, the yield's getting a little worse down here. Wonder why that is. But this is pretty awesome. Smooth sailing so far. I know this is just the first pass, but we're only 21% full, so maybe we won't need to walk back to the farm and grab the grain truck after all. I sure hope not, because I'd rather sit in the air-conditioned cab and listen to the radio than walk 2 miles back to the farm or something like that. You know, I'm a man of sitting down. But it's not terribly dusty out here. It's not super dry, which I like that. That's probably going to be a better factor in yield for us. And we are cutting this stuff off at the ground because obviously we want as much chaff as possible so we can bale the straw. That's why we're doing that. I mean, there's a little bit of stubble, but it's hardly even there. I mean, we are cutting this off basically at the ground. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised the air conditioning even works in this old combine. Couldn't really tell you the year model, but I think this was the competitor combine with the Titan series combines, like the John Deere 8820. I think this was the competitor for that, so I'm assuming this is an 80s combine, and it is awesome. I absolutely love it. I'm not actually sure if it's 4-wheel drive or not. I don't think it is. Tires on the back say otherwise, so I don't know. Either way, I'm in love with this combine, and whoever decided to buy this one on the farm, because I'm sure there was a brand dispute. Some guys on the farm were saying, no, buy a green one. Some guys are saying, no, buy a red one. I don't know, but whoever decided to buy this combine, they knew what they were thinking, because this combine is awesome. Pretty sure the tank extension was aftermarket, but hey, that's a good choice too. And I'm just now noticing it's even got a longer pipe on there, so we're definitely going to be keeping this combine around for a little while. It's honestly, it's bigger than we need. But that's a good thing, because we can just upgrade the heads, and if we want another combine, we can just add it to this combine, and we'll have 2 running in the fields rather than just one bigger combine, if you see the vision there. I think that'll be a pretty slick idea. Alright, now we're back to the better yield spot, so let's turn this corner here. And on second thought, I think these straw swaths are a little farther apart than I thought they were going to be, so we don't have to rake anything. We'll just bring the square baler out here as soon as we're done. And you know what? I think this actually might be our only field of wheat this year. That's a little upsetting. I wish I had the lease a field mod, or whatever that's called, so we could lease out a wheat field for this year and then not worry about buying it until later on, but we don't have that in here, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I could check and see if there's another field of wheat we could buy real fast, but is that really cheating? I don't think so, because honestly, I would seriously like to sell our corn and everything we get off of this year and have so much money that we can go ahead and buy like 4 more fields in year 2 and buy our calves so we can have manure, sell off some of our heifers, because we don't have any calves right now. We've got a few heifers that are kind of older, so we can do some trading in and out, and I'm just trying to save as much money as possible. That's why I was a little stingy with my field buying process. I was looking for cheap and yield efficient. I think we found some pretty decent fields that were close to the farm, yield efficient, and cheap. I think we did pretty good. And if you're wondering why I'd like them close to the farm, the whole walking back because we don't have anybody else to radio to bring me a truck, that's the reason. Imagine if I ran out of diesel in this puppy 14 miles from town and I have nobody to call and no truck out here. Yeah, that's a little bit scary, ain't it, to think about. So when I tell you I've thought this whole thing through, I'm smarter than I look. Alrighty, let's cut that corner a little better. Wasn't too happy with the way we turned into that, so there we go. That's a lot better. And I think let's do 3 passes around the field, and then we'll dump into the wagons, and then we can start our passes up and down the field. So 3 headlands, and then we'll get into our passes up and down. I think that'll work just fine for us. And we have more sunshine in the forecast, so we should have no problems getting this out before the rain. We might even be able to do some tillage on it. I don't know, probably a little early for that. But and speaking of tillage, we're probably going to be looking at a disc, because I was doing some thinking. I want to do the seed bed preparations on 25 a little differently than I did in 22. And what I mean by that is I would seriously like to plow if I need to plow, so use the mulch chisel, cultivate to break up the chunks that I plowed, and then smooth it out with a disc harrow to have a perfect seed bed. And I could be wrong, somebody correct me if I'm not, but I think that even helps out your yield whenever you disc out your cultivated and it gives you the seed bed in the actual menu, and that is like the ideal for planting growth stage or ground stage, whatever, and that's what they want you to have before you plant, because it just helps you with more yield. And with precision farming here, I think that's ideal. I mean, there's an international disc that I've got in here that I'm sure we could find a used one of that's pretty smaller. It's like 6, almost 7 meters, I think, so that'll fit in just perfect with the rest of the farm equipment here. So we'll see about it. I think that's not a bad idea. You guys let me know what you think. I know I said not to worry about the future, but there's just so much to do. I'm so excited. I don't know about any of you, but I'm so happy to be back on here. It's awesome. And I think my equipment taste has gotten better since the last time I played on Alma, so give me some credits for that. I think there's 2 points to me. I'm up by 2. I mean, it's like 2-0 now. Actually, it's like 4-0 because I got that hay cut in no time. I'll give myself 2 points for how fast I got that hay cut, and I was worried about the rain. Man, there's no rain in sight. Look at me go. I'm on a winning streak, and this combine turns unbelievably sharp. I really like that. Man, there ain't a bad thing to say about this combine. I hope the fuel pump isn't going to go bad on me or anything, so I'd have something to complain about, because this is the most ideal combine I had to start with. That Titan series or whatever I had in 22 that I started with was giving me a book of trouble, but this one's doing perfect. Does that mean I'm going to be a red guy at some point? Hopefully not. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm still a deer guy at heart. I didn't have any John Deere wagons in here, so the best we got was Parker. They're still green, don't worry. Tried to have a mix of red and green, and there's even a little bit of blue on this farm, so do not worry. But still a green guy. I just like the axial flow combines, that's all it is. And I think this is going to be some really good timing. We're at 80%. We're probably going to be close to like 85, 87 somewhere when we get to the end of the field. We'll go and dump. We'll come up here and, I was going to say set our GPS up, but there's none in the combine, so we're going to have to eyeball it looks like to me, which is not a big deal. I mean, we can certainly do that. Yeah, there's not a single computer in this combine. It is all old school, which I do like that a little bit, but not as efficient, so, what can I say? Okay, there we go. We got 3 headland passes knocked out. Grain tank is getting there. I know it's only 84, but I don't want to go up and down a field without being able to unload. So since we're out here, let's go ahead and dump into the wagons. Hopefully there's not a car coming because we are out in the middle of the road here. And we'll go ahead and start this. I like that you can see how full the wagon gets over in the top right corner. That's a really nice addition. It saves a lot of time, and this is a very, very, very awesome setup. I am in love with this. And I think while we are dumping in there, let's check and see if this is our only field of wheat. I don't remember. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's good. Or well, it's not good, but it's fine. It's all right. We can work with that. Yeah, okay. There's not really any fields I'd like to lease around here that are decent size. I mean, we got this huge one, but that's a little overkill. So one field of wheat, that'll be fine for now. I mean, after all, we are just getting started, and we still have $143,000. So it's not like we're losing money, or it's not like we're low on money. I've just got this plan, and I'd like to get as much stuff as I can have. So actually, you know what? Here's a great idea. Since there's no GPS, I just got to eyeball it. Let's start on one of these drive lanes so I can have a very precise cut, because they were using GPS when they went down the field. So I can just do this right here and check that out. See, that is innovation. That's awesome. Uh-oh, straighten back up. I'm kind of going to the left a little bit. There we go. Sweet. See, who needs GPS? I'll do it like the pioneers did, or whoever. Not the pioneers, just a few generations previous. And there we go. First pass down the field is done, and that's about the straightest pass I've seen in a good while. We'll spin around here with the combine's tight turning radius. We don't even have to back up at all. Look at that. And then we'll repeat the same going this way, and there we go. Check it out. This field has done me really well so far, so don't have a single bad thing to say. I'm really, really happy with how this is going. And look at the yield in the bottom corner. Outstanding. It is in the darkest green possible. I think that's the darkest green possible, so we're actually going to get more wheat out of here than I thought we would, which unfortunately means we're going to have to get some steps in and go grab the grain truck. Hopefully it'll pull those wagons back home whenever we fill the truck up too, and we'll just kind of park them in a shed or something so they won't spoil or get rained on. We'll probably just put them in the hay shed for now, since it's pull through. It'd make the most sense, because I need to decide if I'm going to put them in the bin or not, the wheat. If there's like hardly any wheat, then I'll probably just say no and we'll take it to the elevator. But if it's actually worth keeping in the bin and there's a good bit of it, we'll put it in the bin. So we'll have to set up the auger too. And we are making some good progress here. Actually almost done with this field. I mean, we've just got this part over here. This part over here, we're about halfway done. Wait, let's open the map a little more and see. Yeah, we're almost halfway done with the field. Actually, I guess the headland passes kind of make it halfway done. So yeah, we're getting there. Combine's just chugging along 6 miles an hour. And I was going over to that side and kind of splitting the field in two, but I think now we're kind of just gonna spin around like this, and we'll start going up and down this way. I was doing it the other way in case the hopper got full and I got a little distracted and just kept doing it. But now we're only 50%, so we can just keep doing this. Doesn't matter where the pipe's at, we're not going to get full anytime soon. And these lines are so straight, looks like we're using GPS, but this is all eyeball. There's not a single monitor in this old combine, so we're doing pretty good. And the yield is kind of varying. It's turning different greens. I mean, there's obviously a band of some kind of sand right here, that's why it's turning a little more yellow, but the loaminess in the soil is doing really well for the wheat. So that kind of tells me that maybe next year we'll put this in corn, and then the year after we'll put it in some kind of spring wheat, because that's usually what does the best in this loamy soil like this. And if we're going to maximize yields, we could even do intercrop with soybeans. So we'll cut it a little higher next year, give the soybeans a little more of like a stubble growth, so they'll come out of the stubble. We'll plant it like that, and we'll double crop. So we'll try to get that in early. I think the crop calendar in Alma is going to let me do that. But there's nothing wrong with trying, and if we can't get a second crop of soybeans in, well, we still got some decent wheat, because the soils are very providing on this field. Except for whatever in the world is going on in this corner, because it is turning down to like, I think that's in the 70% percentile range. It's somewhere in there. So not the greatest. I'd really like some more green, but I keep forgetting how big this tank is on the combine, so it's making it seem like there's hardly any good yield, but I mean, this is a pretty big tank, so you got to think of it that way. You got to think outside the box a little bit. I just hope we can cut all this out without getting full. I'm getting a little worried, but I don't think we'll be full by the time we get all this harvested, because it would be a little bit of a pain to turn around and go all the way to the dirt road, come back and just get this little piece and then have to go all the way down there. So hopefully we can grab all this before we get full. I think we'll be able to, because the yields are so poor down there that we're not even hardly getting any wheat. Well, not really, but something like that. And I think we're looking at a good, maybe about 6%, 7% every time we go up or down the field. So that's not the worst thing ever, but maybe we could do a little better in this field next year anyway, because I did not own this field whatever happened to it, so obviously the yields are a little different from the previous owner, and we've got to fix the nitrogen and pH imbalance in the soil, because obviously it's a little off down here, and that'll help us out in the yield a good bit. And you know what, actually, I think this number right here is the percent of yield, so I don't have to guess anymore. I can just look up here and tell you. So right now it's at 85, 84, so that is actually pretty nice. I like being able to see that. It definitely makes it a lot easier on me. And check this out. This field is absolutely meant to be. Not a single row of shame down here at all. So I will take that any day of the week. And we are about to spill some wheat on the cab, so we need to hurry up and get out of here and dump it before we get what is it called? Cab corn, but cab wheat. And then this right here is our last pass. There we go. Well, for this part of the field, because now we're going to dump. So let's go do that real fast. This should fill up the first wagon, and then we're going to have to put the rest in the back wagon, and hopefully that's all we fill up. I don't really know for sure. The way it's looking right now, we're probably just going to take this on down to the elevator. I don't think we're going to have enough to put it in the bin. That'd just be a waste. Next year when we have more fields, I could consider it, but just 2 wagons and maybe a truck full, I mean, that's not enough to really do anything with. And I don't want to keep it in the wagons, and I definitely don't want to take up bin space waiting on it to dry or collect value. If we run out of space in the other bins for corn or beans, we need somewhere to put it, and I don't think the moisture is really high enough to put it in the bins and dry it, so I think we'll just take it to the elevator. After a very, very long thought out process, yeah, we'll just take it to the elevator. I keep second guessing myself, but no, I think it's just ready to sell. And I mean, we could use a little more money right now anyway, because I have literally no idea how expensive lime is at this co-op, since we're just now moving back into town. Co-op in 22 is pretty cheap, so let's see if they've raised their prices. Hopefully not, but I shouldn't be worrying about any of that right now anyway, since all of that is a little while away. But you guys, I think that's just gonna about do it. Pretty decent start to Alma on 25. I could not actually ask for a better start. We're doing a whole lot better than we were in 22, and I think this is gonna be a good one. I can feel it. We got all of our hay cut, and we'll have it up before the rain gets in, and this wheat is light work. We're gonna have it out of the field and sold in no time. Give us a little more money for the fall time in case we have some repairs or something like that. We'll be ahead of the game. But as far as rules and everything go, if you guys dispute me or have anything to add to the rules or anything for the on the map challenge, let me know in the comments, because I'm taking it a little more serious this time around, like I explained with the timescale, loans, field leasing, all that good stuff. And then obviously easy dev, no easy dev, no giving myself money, none of that obvious stuff. So, but yeah, with all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. I thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.